Project Warlock 2 just hit Steam Early Access with a 6-level Chapter 1, and I gotta say I'm surprised. I'm surprised by how much better this game is than the first one. Project Warlock 1 isn't a bad game, certainly not. It just didn't hold my attention very long. It had a nice look to it, it felt good to shoot things, but if we're being honest, I didn't even make it an hour in. Despite the fun weapons and the RPG elements for customizing your upgrade path, I didn't feel very engaged by the gameplay. It was cool to see some interesting level variety, but the combat didn't offer much. And holy lord, Project Warlock 2 has massively improved on the original concept. The first obvious improvement is in the visual department. It's a much more striking game this time that takes its colorful old school design and fleshes it out. The enemies in particular are fantastically animated. Levels are well modeled and feel quite unique from each other. For a while it feels like maybe you'll just be in these castle-like environments, but then you find yourself in lava areas and this underground kinda surreal red level that I don't even know how to describe. Maps feature a decent amount of exploration and require thought to complete as you're unlocking the traditional colored doors. Many secrets are waiting to be found. Maybe it's a fairly obvious switch like the first level's secret super shotgun, or maybe it'll be one of the many hidden shootable switches that you'll only find by actively looking for them. It's that classic 1993 Doom level design where you feel like you're in a labyrinth a lot of the time, for better or for worse. It creates an experience where finding the right way is gratifying, but if you turn around and you can't figure out where to go, you'll spend 20 minutes wandering around doing nothing, which happened to me a couple times. I'm torn on this kind of level design in high-action first-person shooters. I always have been. It's fun until it's not. Some of you will fly through these maps on your own intuition, and some of you will get frustrated here and there. There's an in-game map that you can pull up while you're moving, and there's a mini-map which I tried to keep on screen often. Oh no, Mayo mentioned Doom, someone put a nickel in the pot. But it doesn't stop there, cause we gotta mention Doom Eternal too. This is another indie shooter that is showing an excellent understanding of Doom Eternal's weapon variety incentives, and puts their own spin on it, like Turbo Overkill did with its alternative fire cooldowns. And hey, you know me by now, I talk about gameplay systems over everything else. So we're gonna dive in. First, Project Warlock 2 consistently ramps up the pressure of resource management, though it doesn't feel like it at first. The first couple levels make you feel like maybe you don't need to worry about it. You're picking up lots of shotgun and rifle ammo, and the sword doesn't feel like it'll be that necessary since you can just blast everyone in the face. By the time I was on level 4 and 5, if I wasn't intelligently incorporating that sword, I found myself in horrible situations of low ammo. So my advice is to get used to it quickly and use it whenever it's not too risky. The sword causes random ammo drops, so we've got a similar system to Shadow Warrior 3 where sword kills and sword swipes grants ammo. It's just that Shadow Warrior 3's pickups are general ammo, and Project Warlock 2's pickups are randomized to be for different specific weapons. And you can't just run around with a sword all day because it uses stamina, each hit doing less damage as your stamina gets lower. Okay, second, there's a combo meter that encourages you to move fast, play aggressively, and execute smart shots to kill multiple enemies at once. As you kill enemies, you'll see small ammo pickups appearing. And when you hit a 10x multiplier through consecutive kills, enemies start dropping cooldown orbs for your abilities. Each one takes a couple seconds off that ability's cooldown. And then a 15x multiplier causes enemies to drop health vials and armor shards. This is wonderful incentive for fun and creative play. Hey, remember in my Does Style Matter video that everyone absolutely loved, where I said Ultra Kill would be a more interesting game if the style meter had tangible rewards during gameplay to inspire you to get a high style ranking, instead of an arbitrary ranking at the end of the level? Well, here we have it. This is basically a style meter, but it's actually integrated into the experience. It's a reflection of your success and motivates aggression and smart play with additional resources. See, it can be done. I'm hoping to see some kind of resource modifier system for replayability purposes eventually. But that's not all. We have a third system that encourages weapon variety outside of resource management and the combo meter. There's a passive reload mechanic. Shooting the rifle's 30 rounds will cause the gun to auto-reload. There is no reload button, which is weird, but it perfectly works in this system. If you shoot the gun until the magazine runs out, it reloads. But if you switch to another gun and switch back, the first gun has reloaded off screen. And there's a short waiting period, so you can't just dead swap and never have to reload. So if you want to just shoot and reload, you can do that. If you want to fire another gun while that one reloads, you'll be doing a lot more damage as you play. Once you have some good upgrades, this all flows incredibly smoothly. Weapons have two distinct upgrade paths that create very different experiences, especially between the rifle's heavy machine gun, which has no reloading but has a terrible spread, and the laser upgrade, which is great for precision shots. With the shotgun, I went for the 4-shell barrel, and then I got the all-shot, which allows me to shoot all 4 shells at once. And on a replay, I tried out the full auto, and of course it's amazing. But I gotta give a lot of love to the cannon. At first it was underwhelming. It does good damage, but it just felt like something I would throw in here and there. But with the upgrade that lets the ball fly through multiple enemies, it quickly became my favorite gun in the game. I mentioned the abilities earlier, so let's talk about that. Project Warlock 2 is a more streamlined experience compared to the first game. You'll have different characters to choose from, but right now there's only one. As you play, you'll unlock a freezing ability, which is invaluable, a burning spell to use on large groups so you can save ammo, and an akimbo ability for dual wielding. And this is where some of the most interesting mechanics come into play. The freeze ability has a default cooldown duration. The fire can be cancelled to have a shorter duration. But the akimbo ability, if you let it run out naturally in about 10 seconds, it has a full 1-minute cooldown period. It's agony. But if you switch weapons at any point, it'll cancel the ability, resulting in a much shorter cooldown, between 3 to 7 seconds depending on how long you are using it. This creates really interesting strategies of dual wielding a weapon for just a few seconds to focus down a large enemy, and then switching to something else, and then dual wielding again right after. This ability also bypasses reloads, so you can fire all your shotgun shells and then activate akimbo and fire again with no delay. Doesn't this sound cool? I guarantee you that it is. Combine this with insanely satisfying gore effects and challenging enemies and you've got a recipe for success. The enemy AI is something I'm mostly happy with. The imps have a 2-shot projectile which you can dodge and then kill them while they pause. The shotgun guys are gonna mess you up for quite a while. They almost feel like blood cultists from how quickly they spot you and shoot. They even shout at you as a signal to watch out. I had a lot of deaths to the bug demons that shoot bouncing explosives. I'd kill them just to explode a few seconds later because I didn't see the grenade. It felt like bullshit sometimes, but mostly because of the level geometry or the darkness in certain parts. There's sections where your visibility is obscured by trees and stuff, and I died repeatedly just because I couldn't see what I was shooting at. I'm also hoping that they can make it to where you can shoot the bug demon's grenade to detonate it yourself. There's a Shambler in this game, yes, a Quake-style Shambler, and he's very deadly. His ground attack lasts a long time, and I'm assuming it's a glitch that walking over his dead body can kill you, because that's a pretty lame way to die. The most difficult enemies are the necromages. She shoots multiple homing rockets at you, and I promise you, most of you are gonna die to her. A lot. She completely changes the game and makes level 5 a uniquely frustrating experience. If you walk into a room and she sees you, you're dead. You have to wait for her to shoot, take cover, and then unload on her. This is why I recommend the laser upgrade for the rifle and not the heavy machine gun. If you don't have the laser, you'll be wasting several long-range shotgun shells or precious cannon ammo just to kill one of them. Honestly, I didn't care for level 5 all that much. I like how it looks, but the inclusion of the mages created multiple fights where if I stepped out from behind cover, I just died. Because these things start firing at you even if they can't see you. Again, maybe this is a bug, this game is still in early access, but the mages create a very stick and move playstyle that makes it incredibly hard to stay aggressive and get any kind of combo meter going, and that affects health and armor pickups. Really, I don't mind the mages, I think they're okay to have here and there, but I wish I ran into them less frequently. An enemy that turns the game's combat on its head really shouldn't appear too much. The issue with the mages comes mostly from the checkpoints. The game autosaves right before you see them in many cases, and I mean right before. So if you die, you respawn and they're already shooting at you. You die in like 3 seconds. I'm all in favor of a combat puzzle I have to solve, but not if you're only going to give me 3 seconds. There's a little bit of platforming here and there, it's fine, it adds to the verticality of the levels, but the game needs to extend the active jump area a little past the geometry. It's really common to jump and fall straight down. Jumping feels unintuitive and needs to be more forgiving. However, this may cause issues in other parts of the game, so it'll just have to be looked into. Since the game is in early access, there's still some bugs to iron out for sure. I haven't had any crashes, but I get a lot of frame rate dips. Even just running at 1080p, not 1440p like I normally play, the game regularly dips from my normal 120 FPS down to 60. And some enemies can get stuck inside the floor or textures on the floor where they can just walk through them and you can get killed by something that you can't even fight. Flying enemies are particularly bad about this. Bosses can also get stuck on geometry and then you can cheese them, which sucks because honestly these bosses aren't that interesting. It's unfortunate when they just bug out like this on top of it. But hey, hopefully that stuff gets worked out soon. Loading times can be a bit annoying. The length of loading times becomes more important the more you see them, and in this game you could find yourself dying a lot and very quickly, spending more time staring at the loading screen than actually playing, because some parts can be hard to get through without dying immediately upon reload. Sometimes firing rate changes dramatically. I've seen the machine gun fire really fast and then dip. I've seen the full auto shotgun go insane and shoot double rounds with each shot. I don't know if this is a frame rate issue or what. I'm not that technically inclined. I just know that it happens semi-regularly. And the railgun range is weird. Not only does it feel like this bullet just passes through enemies a lot without doing any damage, but it's hard to use it against enemies that aren't close to you. The shotgun guy has better range than you do with the railgun, and that just feels wrong. Issues aside, Project Warlock 2 has mostly been a pleasure to play this week. It proves that old school 90s FPS throwback titles can have modern depth and be smart above all else. The days of mindlessly playing with just one gun are behind us. There are actual systems to learn here. I want to thank the devs for sending me the game and especially for talking with me about how it all works. You can pick up Project Warlock 2 right now, and I recommend you do. This game has a bright future ahead of it.